Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together in what we call the weekly bootcamp, retreat, or sanctuary, however you want to describe it, is okay. And today we alternate from week to week. So today we're going to be doing a Qigong exercise, a very famous Qigong exercise called Yi Jin Jing. And I just call it YJJ. And that means that if I translate it according to the most common translation, it would be called exchange of tendon. And as I said before, the word jing could mean tendon. That's the easiest translation, but it could also mean connective tissue. So it's really clearing the channel, the meridians, the energy channel in your body. So before we do that, we're going to be doing some massage and different modality, tapping, acupressure, scraping, and so forth, and just to prepare our body for that exercise. And we're going to start from the fingertips, working all the way to the toes. We're going to start from the top of the head, working all the way to the bottom of the feet. So you can think of this as a full body massage. So let's get started. So we're going to start with the left hand. So I want you to raise your left hand, and then I want you to take your right thumb and just massage the fingertips very gently. Keep in mind that we're actually practicing mindfulness right now, what I call mindfulness in motion. So most people think of mindfulness as in sitting or maybe even walking. But in addition to that, we actually practice lying down before you, as you go to sleep, or when we're walking, including exercise. So now that we're done with the fingertips, let's work on the joints. So let's use our thumb and just massage around the joints from the left to the right. And after you finish one joint, then we move to the next one. And after you finish one finger, you move to the next one at a time. Again, all this time, try to focus on your body, observe the change in your body. And as you massage your fingers, you might feel pain if you have arthritis, but I think it's the right kind, it's a good kind of pain. And because what you find is that as you do these massage regularly, your arthritis actually improve. Okay, so now we go from the left hand to the right hand. Again, one joint at a time, one finger at a time. Keep checking your mind. Make sure that you are actually observing your body and not having random thoughts. Random thought meant that you're either thinking about what's already passed or you're thinking about what things that hasn't happened yet, right? So I want you to get this into thinking about the present, enjoying the present moment. Now we're done with the inside of the palm, so we're going to flip it over, work on the back side of the palm. Now, understanding that our body is structured in such a way that some parts of our body is away from the sun, and some parts of the bodies are into the sun, and that actually describes our energy system. And what's called fight or flight is when we're under the sun, and when we call rest and digest is when we're back in the cave, the comfort of the cave that's away from the sun. So this understanding actually has been in the Chinese tradition for thousands of years. That when you're facing the sun, you're energetic, and when you're away from the sun, then you're restorative. So now we're going to flip from the inside to the outside, and again we're going to start with the fingertip, but this time we're going to work on the corners of the fingernails. So I want you to take your thumb and the index finger and just squeeze each of the fingertips one at a time. And now going from the left hand to the right hand, again, one fingertips at a time. And now I want you to massage the joints again, this time from the back of the hand. One joint at a time. Okay. And most of the time when we do exercise, we have a tendency to really want to move fast, right? Thinking that the faster the better, right? Actually, exercise in our case is less about the speed, less about the intensity, but more about really the focus and focusing your mind on your body and mind together. That's actually the word yoga or yogi, right? That's what it means. It's the mind body together. All right. So we're not done with the fingers yet. So we come back to the center of the palm. We're going to take our thumb and just kind of massage it from the base to the tip, one at a time. Massage in between the joints, and then now from the left to the right. And then now we're going to flip it over and then massage the back of the hand again from the fingers along the length of the fingers. Okay. All right. So now we're going to massage the back side of the hand. There's some important energy points in the back side of the hand facing the sun. So as we age, and I'm not sure how many of you are my age, but I'm assuming that uh, um, my peers are here, and we're very concerned about um, um, aging, right? Aging, or actually preventing premature aging. And so a lot of that has to do with the part of the body that is facing the sun, getting more and more yang energy. So one place to start is actually in between the fingers. So we take a thumb now using the edge and just kind of massage in between the fingers. Okay. And then the other side, massage in between the fingers. All right. And then now we're going to hold the fist and then take the edge of the thumb again and massage in between the knuckles. And same thing over here. And now we're going to look at the back of the palm, and you notice that each fingers have individual bones, and in between the bones, we're going to massage, sliding the fingers in between the bones. Okay. Now there's three important energy points around the wrist facing the sun that is the source of yang energy. And so you may say, well, how do I know if I don't have enough yang energy? Well, if you don't have enough energy, your body's very cold. That's one thing, right? So when you go to sleep, your feet are very, very cold. Or your fingers are cold. Sometimes people have very cold hands. The other indication that you don't have enough yang energy, you don't have enough strength, right? And you just don't have enough strength. And so these three energy points are actually known for, particularly the one in the back of the wrist. So I want you to look for this line in between the middle fingers and the ring fingers, and just use your fingers slide along here until you get to the top of the wrist. Now, then you kind of move the wrist around and you notice that there's a dimple. That's the point. So this is called a pan of yang. So I want you to put your thumb here and press it down. Press it down. And then if you want, you can kind of massage a little bit. Okay, massage a little bit. There's the same thing over here. It's called the pan of yang. And again, starting with what's between the middle fingers and the index finger, go down until you get to the top of the wrist, move around, and then all of a sudden you see a cavity. So just put your thumb on that and press down on it. And then maybe just a little bit of pressure massage, okay? Now there's another, so this is actually, this meridian has a name, right? It's called a triple warmer. Again, it's Chinese words are very difficult to translate, and so that word can be translated as warmer, focus, heat, but it can also be translated as membrane. And so it's triple warmer actually means triple section. So what's above the diaphragm, what's below the belly button, and what's in between. And so we have the upper, middle, and the lower, and all that contains the internal organs. And this energy line has no Western equivalent. It's actually everything. Okay, so it's very important. And so this energy point is part of the triple warmer. And there are two other meridians. One is along the along the index finger, and then the other one is along the small fingers. So this is the large intestine, the small intestine. So this one is a little easier to find. So you take your thumb, you come down to the wrist. Again, you move around, right? So all of a sudden you see a dimple in here. So you put your thumb on that. Now it turns out that if you take your index finger and just put that on the other side and just kind of squeeze, and then the two cavities will appear. And so this is called the pond of Qi, and the other one called the valley of Qi, and then the spring All right, so stream, maybe the stream of stream. So again, just come down here and then use your index finger, put that on the other side and just squeeze. Okay, now whenever we talk about yang energy, whenever we talk about the fight or flight, and when you're in danger, your body knows that you have to run away from danger or run towards it, right? Whatever it is that you do, the body is structured so that it releases stress hormone at that time. And one of the stress hormone is a steroid, right? Otherwise known as cortisol. And so steroid is there to reduce inflammation. And so one of the indications that our body is inflamed, what we call chronic inflammation now, not acute, chronic inflammation now is that your body aches. Right? Your body aches, your wrist aches, your fingers aches, your elbow, your shoulder, your whole body aches. That's a sign of inflammation. And so the Chinese very simply is this: well, the yang energy lines are to clear the qi. And if you can clear the qi, the pain will go away because the inflammation will go away. So these energy points actually are quite important. So they work locally. So if you have pain in the wrist, these energy points would help with the wrist, fingers would help, but they actually work in a global manner. So if you can clear the yang energy line, it actually reduces inflammation in the rest of the body, right? So this is the kind of thing that we do every day, right? Okay, so now I want you to come back to the thumb, right? We kind of left out the thumb, but before we work on the thumb, right next to the thumb is the index finger. And along this line is the energy line that we name after the large intestine. Now, one of the things that I need to clear up is that this is just, the Chinese, they're not into, what is that called? When you open up a body? This is the Western science, Western medical science is all about opening up the body and look at the inside and examine the inside. The Chinese don't do that. This is against nature. And so even when they sentence someone to death, they chop off the head. It's very important that they give the whole body back to the families because you have to bury the body as whole. This is the tradition. So to actually open up someone, that is not right. So they don't actually study the body by opening them up. They do it a different way. They do it by really studying the energy flow. And the only way you can do that is to meditate. And so the original people that understand Chinese medicine are meditators. They can actually meditate and see the energy in the body. And so they just name these energy after the organ. And because you might say, well, how does that have to do with large intestine? Well, they just name it that because it happens to pass through your large intestine. So that does help with the large intestine, but they really are more into the elements. So the lung and the large intestines are considered to be the metallic element, right? So it's a very, very different, but in any case, I recommend this part of the body, the index finger, because it will, this first of all, it's a yang energy line, so it relieves pain, relieve inflammation. But again, because it's named after the large intestine, this whole energy line actually do help with the large intestine, do help with your ability to pass out toxins in your body. All right. And particularly this section is very good, very well known for people who have constipation. So constipation is as you age is a very, very bad thing. Okay, it's three things that are very bad: constipation, insomnia, and indigestions. Those are indication that your body is out of whack, out of order. Okay, so the one thing, if you have constipation, this is highly recommended. This part here. So first of all, we can start with the finger, the corner of the index finger. So you can kind of squeeze that. And then you see the knuckle here, right below the knuckle, along the edge of the index finger, there's a cavity. So you can massage that. And then you can kind of scrape the index finger from the inside to the outside. Okay, same thing over here. Squeeze down on the corner of the index finger. And then in the back of the knuckle right here, there's a energy point, and then just kind of squeeze down. Now you might say, oh, I don't have any problem with constipation. But then the question is that how long does that toxin stay in your body, right? And you really want to get that out, right? That's not a good thing because there's a guy who actually got a Nobel Prize for studying intestines, both large and small, and actually got a Nobel Prize for leaky gut, right? Because your intestines are not made out of stainless steel. They absorb toxins too, right? So you want to get that out. And this is, I recommend this for as we age, is that we massage. And it's easy to do, right? Just the index finger on the edge of the index finger. Okay, so that's one. The other one is that we come back to the thumb, right? So we massage the thumb all the way around. Massage the thumb. Now there's a part of the thumb. So if you look at your thumb as a drumstick, right here is there is very important. So you take your right hand, you use your thumb and your index finger, form a pincher, and just kind of pinch this part of your thumb. Same thing, pinch this part of the thumb. And then now let me make a knuckle and just kind of drill into this. This is it. This is an energy point. This part of the lung is the inside, right? And then same thing over here. Okay. Now, so now we're getting the inside. So this is, we're back in the outside where we're talking about large intestine, triple warmer, small warmer. In the inside, it's the lung and the large intestine, and then the heart or the mind and the small intestine, right? So, and then in the middle is the triple warmer. So we take a knuckle again, drill into the center of the palm. This is the energy point that can actually put out energy, right? This is a heating hand. And then we take the two and we kind of rub it together. And then we take the right, put it on top of the left hand, fingers squeezing together, and then just massage some more. And then do the other side. And then back into the hand. Okay, so now we're ready to do some finger exercise. So again, so we need to sit back properly. So let's focus on the very bottom of our spine. Let's stretch your spine towards the ceiling. Stretch as hard as you can. And then lean back, relax. And then focus on the shoulder. Lift up the shoulder. Open that shoulder. And then relax. Relax some more. And now we're going to do finger exercise. So I want you to close your eye and then visualize your fingers. And then I want you to bring up both hands. I want you to take the thumb and the index finger, touch the tips, and then squeeze as hard as you can. Then take the thumb and the middle fingers and squeeze as hard as you can. And then the thumb and the ring finger and squeeze as hard as you can. And then the thumb and the small fingers and squeeze as hard as you can. Now come back. And then now touch the middle of the index finger with your thumb and squeeze. The middle of the middle finger and squeeze. The middle of the ring finger and squeeze. The middle of the small fingers and squeeze. Now put down your hand. Again, lift up your shoulder. Open your shoulder, lean back, relax your shoulder, relax your upper torso. We're going to do the second set of exercise. This one involving separation of the left brain and the right brain. And so now we're going to bring up our right hand, close your eye, visualize your fingers. We're going to close these fingers one at a time, first bringing the thumb, then two fingers, now the index and the small fingers. We're going to put down our right hand, lift up our left hand using the right side of our brain. Thumb, two fingers, index, small fingers. Bring up both hands, squeeze as hard as you can. Leave the right hand, right fist. Open up in the reverse order, small fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Left hand, small fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. And then stretch as hard as you can. And then put down the left hand. And now say to yourself, I'm going to do the second time. Thumb, two fingers, index, small fingers. Left hand, thumb, two fingers, index, small fingers. And squeeze as hard as you can. Open up the right fist, small fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Left hand, small fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. And then stretch as hard as you can. Again, say to yourself, I'm now going to do it for the last time. Thumb, two fingers, index, small fingers. Left hand, thumb, two fingers, index, small fingers. Squeeze as hard as you can. Right fist, small fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Small fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Bring up your hands and stretch as hard as you can. Now sit up straight, center of the palm touching, fingers touching. Push as hard as you can. Lift up your elbow. And then now, without leaving, staying in contact, making sure that the palms are in contact, you bring down your hand, stretch the wrist a little bit. Okay? All right. So now you come back and we're going to start doing some tapping. Now, it's very important that you stretch out your hands like this so you can feel the vibration, right? Now, we're going to sit up straight and we're going to count 30 times as we're going to count as we tap. Get ready? Go. Now, we're going to cross the hands and we're going to tap 30 times. We're going to work on the inside the palm first along the small fingers. We're going to form a V and tapping the muscle to muscle. Okay, get ready, go. Now we're going to tap the same thing on the thumb, again forming the V, muscle to muscle. Get ready, go. Okay, now we're going to tap the outside, and this time we're going to tap at the edge of the palm. So let's fold our hands. See this line right at the edge? We're going to open up a palm, roll up our fingers, and then just tap this point 30 times. Okay, and then now we're going to open up this valley. This is the large intestine. We're going to take the palm, take the edge of the palm and put that on top 30 times. And then the other side. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of acupressure. The two energy points that are very well known. One is here, what's it called, the valley. So to do acupressure, do it properly, you have to know where to put. So there are two ways to do it. One way is that you close up your hand, you see this bump, you open it, and it's right there. The other way is a little bit more procedural, where you start by noticing the ridge. You take your thumb, you notice the line, you put the line on the ridge, then you push down with the thumb, but then you take your right hand, you put that on the left side. And when you push down, it tends to lean on the index finger and you feel kind of numb. And then the other side, put the left hand on the right, on top of the right, and push down. And then there's another one right here on the wrist. Measure 3 fingers, put your thumb right here, and wrap around with your hand, and then just push down. Same thing on the other side, push down. Okay, so those are the two energy points that are very well known. And one is, I call it merging valley. It's called it's part of the large intestine. And then the other one is part of the pericardium. And then I call that inner gate. Okay, inner gate. All right, so now we're ready for the next modality. I highly recommend this. This one is being studied very intensely now. People want to understand how come it works. Why does it work so well? It works really well in relieving pain by energizing the underlayer, by energizing the connective tissue. All right. So we're going to do this systematically, inside and then outside. Inside, we have 3 energy line, one in the middle, one along the small fingers, one along the thumb. And then when you get to the outside, same thing, 3, right? So first we're going to work in the middle. Now the middle is pericardium. For those of you who have a little bit of heart problem, as in my mom does, I recommend going all the way up to here. Otherwise, you start here. Okay, so you go up here, you go to the wrist, you keep moving until you get to that where we normally wear a watch, the what I call the inner gate, and then you get to the wrist, and then you come back all the way up to here, and then you notice that the bone, working the inside of the bone from the elbow all the way down to the wrist. Then you come back, and then you scrape on the bone. Then you scrape on the outside the bone, which is the large intestine, meridian. Then you scrape in the middle, which is the triple warmer. And then you scrape along the small fingers, which is the small intestine. Keep reminded the small intestine is your second brain, so it's very important. And then the back of the hand, if you happen to have arthritis, the fingers, the thumb, and then back to the small fingers. The middle, outside the bone, and then the bone inside, and then the center line all the way up to here, and then the small fingers, especially this part right here, right? The small fingers here, and this one help you sleep, improve the quality of your sleep, and then all the way to the elbow. Okay, all right. Now let's do the other side again, starting here to the elbow, all the way down to the wrist. Come back, and then inside of the bone, starting at the elbow all the way to the wrist, and then on top of the bone, and then outside, and then in the middle, and then along the small fingers, and then the back of the hand, the fingers, the thumb, the fingers, back of the hand, and then right in the middle, all the way, turn the hand, and then the small fingers all the way to the elbow. Okay, all right. I highly recommend this, and you can look it up. These days it's easy. Just log into your favorite AI tool, and then just ask the question. Ask the question, right? Okay, and now we're gonna do the next set exercise, which combines the fingers and then all the way to the shoulder. All right. So scraping is very good if you have carpal tunnel. This is very good if you have carpal tunnel. All right. So back to the shoulder, lift up a shoulder, open the shoulder, lean back, relax the shoulder, relax upper torso. Looking straight ahead, pointing all 10 fingers towards the camera. Roll up your 4 fingers, push down with your thumb, wind up your 4 fingers, but hold it down with your thumb. Get ready. Now make sure you lock your elbow. Okay. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, now continue. And if you have frozen shoulder, or you have whatever this is called now in the back, right? This would help. And so first we're going to lift up our shoulder again, open the shoulder, and then relax. Now, if you could rotate your hip forward and lean back, so you can put some pressure right behind your back. If you take your hand, and where the fingertip touches is where the kidneys are, right? Where your adrenal glands are. So if you could put your hip forward and lean back, you can put some pressure in there first. Then you open your shoulder and lean and ready. Okay. Now you take your fingers, you form what's called a lotus hand. You take your thumb, you put the middle fingers, then you stretch out the other 3. You put your lotus hand in front of this energy point called the gate to the cloud. You open that. Back of the hand facing the camera. Get ready. 1, back of the hand facing the camera. Lotus hand, sit up straight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? All right. So now we're going to work on the back of the neck and then until we get to the top of the head, right? Okay. So I think I mentioned this a few times. When I was a small child, people die, in their 60s. So if you can reach your 60th birthday, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And so these days, typically 100-year-old is not that uncommon anymore, right? Because we have good Western medicine, and so a lot of things, we can easy to do. And I remember when I was a small child, it's very common that you have something, I forgot what it's called, but you grow something in your head, and then it's a very painful thing. And so, but that was before penicillin. Well, penicillin was invented; it was just not widely available in the Asia. But nowadays, you don't have any of these problems, right? You have all these antibiotics that makes it go away. But then you have a new problem, which is that when the coroner give you the death certificates, you have to fill out your reasons for dying. We never have to answer that question, What do you mean there's a reason for dying? You get old and you die. But no, that's not a good enough reason. You have to have a sickness so that you can die from the sickness, which is kind of ironic. Why can't I just grow and die? Why do I have to get sick, right? So my whole purpose in life is not to get sick, so I can just die when I get tired and die from old age. That's my objective. All right. So that's what I do here. That's why I do what I do, is I don't want to get sick. And you don't get sick not because you take medicine, but because I have this deep belief that the body is an energy system, not just a collection of components. So if I could clear this channel and let energy passes through my body freely, then my body would not inflame. And therefore, I would have a lot less of these so-called sickness, right? All right, so now we have a very important part of our energy system, which is the energy passing through our neck until you get to the top of the head. This is the 100 feet. And from here, it goes into the universe. That's the yang energy. And then in return, the yang energy gives me back a restorative energy called the yin energy. That's simple. We're part of the universe. So I want you to take your thumb and just kind of feel your neck until you get this cavity right at the bottom of your skull. And this is a very important energy point. It's called the pan. This is the second time I mentioned pan. We have pan of yang right here, and this is pan of yin. So this is the pan. This is the place where you get clear your nerve. Right? Yin is nerve. You cannot feel it. I mean, you cannot see it, you cannot taste it, you cannot smell it, you can only feel it. So I want you to use your thumb and just kind of squeeze this 2 point here, massage these 2 point, and then just press down with your thumb as if you're squeezing a rubber hose. Lean back, and then relax. Now take your right hand, put that on the left, push down with your thumb, and then grab the tendon on your left side of the neck and just stretch it onto the right side. Now, this happens to be part of the vagus nerve. It starts here, comes here, right? And then same thing on the other side. Push down with your left hand. Grab the right side of your neck and then just pull it towards the left as if you're opening a channel. Now you lift up your left ear, and this is the beginning of the vagus nerve, right? Again, and just massage, and just go across. This is how the vagus nerve moves. So just relax. And then same thing on the other side. Massage the bottom of the ear and then just relax. And then push down your left ear, massage the corner, and then just come down until you get to the palm of yin. And then same thing on the other side, and then push down. Now I want you to take the thumb and massage that corner and then move towards the cavity, but stop in the middle. And then now your thumb is on top of the bone. Move down slightly, there's a cavity, and then just massage. Now, this is the part you want to do. If you have a problem getting to sleep because you have a lot of stress, this is one point that would help. Okay, now you come to this cavity and you're just going to squeeze the neck. You go down and you squeeze, and you go down some more and you squeeze. Okay, now you lean your head to the left. You use this part, this magical part of your thumb, and just massage. And same thing, massage on the other side. Okay, and you might just want to squeeze the neck a little bit more. Now we're going to work on the left side of the neck. And so I want you to look straight ahead, turn your head to the right, look down, and then take your right hand, use the edge of the index finger, and you see this tendon right here? And just kind of scrape that. And then look straight ahead, turn to the left, look down, scrape the other side. And then look up, and then scrape right here, and then right here. Okay? Now I want you to work on the shoulder. And again, find that cavity, push down, and then just kind of massage. Back, there's another one. Here, there's another one. Here, there's another one. And then in front, there's another one. And just massage. Okay? Now on the right side, now again, the cavity right here. Back, there's another one. Right here, there's another one. And there's another one. And in front, there's another one. And then massage. Okay? Now this kind of massage is getting well known. It's called fascia massage, right? Except that fascia is myofascia, so it's really the connective tissue of the muscle. So it's less about the muscle, the tendon is what's in between. So it's a very different idea of massaging, and you're basically massaging by clearing the energy channel and let the energy goes through, and then let the energy heal your body, as opposed to just working on the things that you can see, and that would be like the tendon and the muscle, right? It's a different kind of massage. All right. So now we're moving to the front of the face now. Front of the face. All right. Now this requires that there's a belief that this is the healing hand, and the healing hand puts out energy, and the energy is infrared, which means that you can actually use that energy to heal yourself. And when you heal yourself, your eye has to adjust to the infrared. Okay? All right. So now first we're going to put a palm together and generate that energy. Now we're going to form an empty hand and put that on the left eye. Now don't push down, because infrared needs radiation, right? There's 3 forms of heat conduction. Now, if you were my engineering student, by the time you get to your 3rd year, you would take my heat transfer thermodynamic class, and I would explain the 3 modes of heat transfer: conduction, convection, and radiation. Okay, so this is radiation. So you first generate the energy, then you form empty hand. You make sure that there's a cavity so that you have space for for it to radiate. Then you take the right hand, you put that. Now you move it around and you open your eye. But if you see any light, you keep moving until you don't see any light. Because if you see light, the eye will get overwhelmed by the visible light and not by the infrared. Okay, so it's very important that when you put your palm in front of your eye, first you make sure that there's space. Second, you make sure that the hand is tight so you don't see any visible light. Okay, now first time, and put that on your eye. Second time, you don't feel very much, right? Because the eye doesn't know what's going on. And you put that on your eye, and then all of a sudden you feel a little bit more warm, because the eye said, oh, I can do this. This is infrared. I get it. All right. And then now we're going to massage the forehead. We're going to massage the edge, the 2 sides of the nose, all the way down. We're going to massage right here in between the bottom of your nose and the top of your lip. This is called the center of being. This is actually where the yang energies and the yin energy combine meets. Okay, and then massage the chin, back to the face, from the forehead down to the chin. Now massage the side of the face, and then put the center of your palm on top of your temple, and just kind of massage that. All right. Now let's take your fingers, put that in between the eyebrow, and massage that. You feel stress here, and just keep moving up until you get to right here. There's a kind of a pointy part, and then you come back. You massage above the eyebrow, and then you massage the beginning of the eyebrow. And again, you massage the forehead. You keep moving up until you get to, you say, oh, that's the big brain. This is the part of the brain that's responsible for all my cognitive function. Thank you very much. And you get to the back of the brain and you say, oh, this is the part responsible for memory. Thank you very much. And then you get down to the lower part, the small brain. This is the motor function. Okay? All right. And then you massage the top of the ear and back to the face, back to the nose. And then you massage the fingers one at a time. Okay? One at a time. Okay, all right. Now we're going to use our fingers to massage the eyes. So first, understanding that eyebrow has 3 energy points, and then below the eye back has 3 energy points. That's 6. There's 2 more that is very important for the eye. Is we already did that. That's actually the back of the with what we call the palm of wind. That's actually very important for the eye. Okay, all right. But let's work on top of the eye, and so just kind of push down, hold it, use a little bit of force on your neck to provide the pressure, and then put the fingers in between the eyebrow and then just kind of squeeze the eyebrow. Okay, now let's take a right thumb, put that at the corner of the eye, and just kind of massage below the eye back all the way to the what we call the tail of the eye. And then same thing over here. Now we come back to the corner, and then we put an index finger to the corner, and then put some pressure, massage a little bit. You feel there's something underneath, right? It's kind of interesting. Now we're going to sit up straight. We're going to apply slight pressure. Now we're going to move the eyes. Okay, do some eye yoga. Now we're going to move the eyeball up as far up as you can. Move the eyeball to the right, as far right as you can. Move down, move to the left, back up again. Get ready? We're going to do clockwise. Up, right, down, left. Up, right, down, left. Up, right, down, left. Now we'll come back to the up, and then we're going to do counterclockwise. Left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up. Okay, open your eyes. Very bright, huh? Okay, now go from the corner all the way down to your chin. Okay, now put that below your eye back. And then along the nose, you feel the bone until you get to the bottom of the bone. You push it, and you push up, and then you take a deep breath, go. Okay, now you massage the center of being, you massage the chin, and then you massage the 2 sides of the neck. All right, now we're going to come to the ears. So we're going to separate the ears into 3 parts. First, the thumb on top, massage the back of the ear. Now in the middle, massage the back of the ear. Now put that underneath, the bottom, and massage the back of the ear. Massage the tip, pull, massage the edge all the way down to your ear loop, and then leave the thumb behind the ear loop. Take the index finger outside of the ear, and then just kind of massage, and then massage up and down. And then use the thumb, massage the back of the ear, and then 2 fingers on top, all the way down to the beginning of the vagus nerve. Same thing. And then from the top, all the way to the bottom. And then now put your hand, cover the ear, stretch the ear, go 1, 2, and 3. Okay? All right, so now we're ready to get to the top of the head now. All right, so top of the head is the 100 meters where all the yang energy comes together and then go to the universe. And then in exchange, the yin energy will come back. Okay? All right, so lift up your shoulder, Open your shoulder, lean back, and then relax. Relax some more. Lean back your forehead so the ears on top of your shoulder, tuck in your chin. And then this energy point called 100 meat is the tip of the ear, top of the head. But there's actually 4 energy points on the on front, back, left, and right. So we're basically working on all of them by pointing the fingers down so you can feel the vibration. Okay, count as you go. Get ready, go. And then now use the fingertips. Go 1, massaging, 2, and then 3. Now massage top of the ear. 1, 2, and then 3. Okay. Now we're going to work from the top of the head all the way to the bottom of the feet. Right? It's a lot of work. A lot of work. A lot of work to stay away from Western medicine. A lot of work so that I don't have to figure out why I die. Just being old and die. That's good enough for me. I don't need to get sick and die. All right, now point to the top of your shoulder. There's a cavity. Point to the front. There's another one. This one is part of the energy line named after the gallbladder. It's called the well on the shoulder. This one is the gate of cloud. Remember that? All right. So again, open up your shoulder, lean back, and then relax. Turn your head to the right. Bring up your right hand. Form the empty hand. Fingers on top, palm in front. Listen with your left ear. Get ready? Wake up. Continue. And then open your shoulder, lean back, relax. Turn your head to the left, empty hand. Put that on your right shoulder, palm in front. Listen with your right ear. Get ready. Wake up. Continue. Okay, now we're going to work on what is called the 8 longevity cavity. They're the closest to your internal organs. They're the warmest part of your body. They're also the part where the negative energy can attack you. This is the belief. And the first one is right here, armpit. And if you don't know that armpit is the warmest place, right? When you get cold, you do this. Right? So, but the armpit is part of the heart meridian. And so this muscle is actually quite important, right? There are 2 muscles that are important. This one, and then also the calf. The calf is called the second um, heart. But this one is also very important, right? This one is also the heart, the mind, right? All right, so now we take our left elbow, we put that on top of our head. We look straight ahead, so we're stretching this muscle. Then we pinch the top part of right ear, turn your head to the right, bring up the right hand, form the empty hand, put that on your left, listen with the left ear. Get ready? Go. Continue. Okay, now to the left. Look straight ahead, left ear, turn your head to the left, left hand, empty hand, right ear. Get ready? Go. Continue. Okay, it's very important to use empty hand because we're actually setting up a vibration by compressing the air. Okay, now the next one is the elbow. So you lock your elbow, you take your right hand, you wrap it around, fingers on top, palm on the side. You lift up your left arm so that it's about eye level. Listen with the left ear. Get ready. Go. Continue. And then now the other side. Lock it. Left hand, right ear. Get ready. Go. Continue. Okay. All right. So now we're ready to get to the lower part of the body. So upper part is mainly about the heart and the lung, and the lower part is about the liver, the splint, and then also the kidney. Okay. So in some way, the lower part of the body, the energy lines more to do with the metabolic, right? Okay. Now we're going to separate into three groups. So the first group is the splint and and the and the stomach. Okay. All right. So inside is yin, and one energy point is right at the knee. Measure 3 fingers in the inside. Now this is called the sea of blood. This is the energy point that will actually clear your blood, right? Remove toxins from your bloodstream. So we're going to use the edge of a palm and just be very flexible. Get ready, go. Okay. Now we're going to work splint and stomach. Now someone mentioned about limbic drainage, and so limbic is an organ, and uh, limbic is the back channel where the limbic cell would transmit, that allows you to generate white blood cell um, in case of foreign attack, right? But the rest of the time, it's not doing very much. So the body optimized in such a way that the limbic system is where you return water from the extremities. And so just explaining the wording, limbic drainage would help with your immune system, but it would also help with um, water retention, right? Now, in Chinese, they don't really have that concept. Limbic is not part of that concept. However, when you look at what we do with the 8 cavities, and they're basically where the limbic systems are. So in some way, we work on that. But more importantly, in some way, the limbic system is part of the splint and stomach energy system, because the splint and the stomach is what we call the earth element. Now, the soil. So what does the soil have to do? Well, it has to transport water. And so that makes sense. That would be your limbic system. But it also has to transform. It has to transform your raw ingredients into nutrients. So that would be your digestion. So it turns out that the earth element is very important. It's what we call the cradle of life. Okay, so limbic drainage makes sense to me, right? However, we don't work on components; we work on energy. Now, the stomach starts in the front. So first, you identify here. You measure 4 fingers. You find the bone, and then it's on the outside. Now, this is actually a very important energy point to help with digestion, indigestion. Okay, get ready, go. Okay, so I talk about transformation. So transformation is digestion, right? There's another energy point. If you go 4 fingers, the edge of the bone, and then on the outside. Now, this energy point is for transportation, is to clear your system, to remove toxins, and it's tied to high cholesterol. Cholesterol is not a problem. The problem is with inflammation. When your body inflamed, when your blood vessel inflamed, the body wants to heal itself by sending out cholesterol. Okay? All right, get ready. All right. So this is something that you need to keep in mind, is that cholesterol is not the problem. Cholesterol is the symptom. And when your body have too much cholesterol, what's called a bad cholesterol, low density lipoprotein, which is just a carrier for cholesterol leaving your liver, then the doctor says that that would be a sign that you could have a stroke or heart attack. But the problem is really with inflammation. So if you just take medicine to reduce LDL, then the one organ that requires cholesterol would be affected, which is your brain. Your brain is made up of 80% cholesterol, right? So you got to think about it like that. Okay, so again, back to inflammation. It's all about inflammation. All right, so now this is the first grouping, which is the splint and the stomach. The second grouping is the liver and the gallbladder. So first here. Now close your knee outside, 2 points. Second one. Okay, now, then below the knee, there's an important energy point right here. Get ready? Go. And then in the middle. And then go all the way down to the ankle, measure 4 fingers up. Okay, now we're going to work on the toes. Okay, we're going to first work on in between the big toe and the second toe, and just put your thumb and just massage. Then the next one, and the next one. The second one is the stomach, then it's the gallbladder, then it's the bladder. Come back. And this is the liver. So you just find that where before the bone joins together, this is a very important pressure point. And then massage. Now you flip, you turn your toes backward. I got to point this to the camera. And then you see the tendon. Scrape the tendon. And then scrape the bottom of your feet. Scrape the heel. Scrape the ball area. Massage the toes. And then, very important, massage the arch. And then massage the back of the ankle. Measure 4 fingers. Massage the back right below the bone. And then massage the entirety. Okay, now come back to this gushing spring and then massage. And then we're going to tap the bottom of your feet. So we turn the toes back, form empty hand 30 times. Continue. Okay? All right, so now we work on the right. And then come back, do a little bit of acupressure here. Flipped it upside down, scraped. This is called the longevity tendon. And then the bottom of the feet, the heel, the ball area. And then the arch. And then behind the ankle, 4 fingers above the ankle. And then the entirety of the inside. Come back, massage the bottom of your feet. And then tap it for 30 times. Get ready. Go. Continue. Okay? All right. So long before I started meditation and my study, my practice of Buddha's teaching, I was a entrepreneur. And before that, I was a university professor, taught at UCLA. The day that I decided to leave the university was when I attended the commencement, and the chancellor was speaking to the parents, talking about how UCLA was such a great place for the children. And for the first time, I hear a word being used when he talks about how his children, this is the place where his students will experience 4 years of the best educational experience. First time I ever used that word experience, I hear the word experience. So I said to myself, that's crazy, that's kind of strange. I thought we were here for education, but that's not true. The chancellor says that we're here to provide educational experience. I said to myself, oh, I'm now in the service industry. So it's very hard for me to find the middle ground, which is, am I here to provide service, to make sure that you have a good experience? Or am I here to really share with you what I learned, and some of which might not be what you want to hear? So these days, we had a word called body positive. The opposite of that is called body shaming. When someone is obese, we're not supposed to say anything because that's a personal choice. Right? It's like smoking was a personal choice until we discovered secondhand smoking. So when someone is obese, overweight, you're not supposed to criticize them. You're not even supposed to look at them funny because you would destroy the experience. The problem is, it's okay to have body fat. It's not okay to retain water. You have to ask yourself, am I overweight because that's just my body? Or am I overweight because I need to shed some water? The reason why you have water in your body is the body is trying to protect itself. It's protecting itself by retaining water because you have too much toxin in your body. And the number one source of toxins are all of the industrialized foodstuff. The sugar is industrialized. The salt is industrialized. The cooking oil is industrialized. The pizza is industrialized. The pasta is industrialized. So when you consume industrialized food, you're consuming toxin. And the body is trying to protect itself by retaining water. It's the last line of defense. So if your body is retaining water, I have to ask myself, am I supposed to talk about that? Or am I here for your experience? You don't want to hear what I say? You don't need to be here. I'm only interested in speaking the truth. Okay? All right, so let's continue. Now, there's one energy point right here. It's part of the longevity cavity. And put your fingers in the back and then tap 30 times. Continue. And then the last cavity is right here. So this is the part that is very important. So massage that and then tap that 30 times. Get ready? Go. Okay. And so now we're ready to do Yi Jin Jing. Now, speaking the truth is very important as my practice. You know that Buddha was an Indian. Right? Everyone knows that. And you know that many of the Indians wrap their head, right? And that's actually a religion. Not all Indians does that. Only the Sikh does that. Where does the tradition of wrapping their head comes from? Well, once upon a time, the leader was speaking about equality. And that's not something you want to say in a system that has caste, that you have people up here, you have people down here. No, he speaks about equality. So they capture him and ready to chop off his head. So all his followers came to the place where they were going to execute him, and they all wrapped their head, thinking that there he is. We're here to speak the truth. Truth is not very pleasant to hear, but truth is the truth. All right. So I don't want to body shame anyone. I just want to tell you that if your body retains water, it's not a good thing. If you have constipation, it's not a good thing. If you have insomnia, it's not a good thing. Your body is telling you that you're full of toxin. All right? All right, so now we're ready for this exercise that basically works on all 12 meridians plus the 2 principal channel. And after we do that, we're going to sit down and we're going to collect all that energy into our lower abdomen. And then we're going to separate into yin and yang and let it circulate our body. It's a very, very profound exercise. First, we're going to locate the bottom of the feet. That's the gushing spring. This is the part that connects us to the earth. The earth energy comes up through the center of our feet. That's why it's called gushing spring. Now we're going to point our toes inward and we're going to loosen up the knee, activate the second heart. Let the energy come up. Then we're going to open the shoulder, aligning the well with the spring. Then we're going to lean back the forehead, tuck in the chin, aligning the top of the head with our central nerve system. This is where the energy comes in. This is where the energy exits, and vice versa. Now we're going to take our healing hand, point it to the earth, bring it back slightly so we're on both sides. Now I'm going to say, go. That's your beginning. This is not where you push. This is where you start to observe your breathing. You notice that you're breathing in, and then you notice that you're breathing out. And right there, there's a space. That's where you can concentrate. You bring your mind to the center of your palm. That's what yoga means. And then you just push, sending a shock wave through your spiral cord all the way to the top of your head. Get ready? Go. Back to the breath. It's very important that you come back to the rest and digest. The way that you know that you're in rest and digest is that all of a sudden the saliva glands are turned back on. You feel the inside of your mouth. And you turn it on by not having any random thoughts, not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future. You're not in danger. So focus on your breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. After 2 breaths, you're ready for the second time. Again, adjust your shoulder, adjust your forehead, pointing the palm towards the earth. Go. Back to the breath. One last time. Go. Back to the breath. Check the inside of your mouth. Now, next one's called pointing. You point your thumb towards the hip. You raise your hand. You rub your 4 fingers. You imagine someone have hang 2 buckets of water on your thumb and you lift up the water with your thumb. You stretch it as hard as you can, energizing the large intestines, improving your ability to remove toxins from your body. And then you relax without lowering your hand. After 2 breaths, second time. And then relax. One last time. And then relax. Lower your hand, completely relax. Next one is called beginner's mind. This is what the babies do inside the mother's womb. Putting the thumb across, roll up the 4 fingers, lift up the hand, and squeeze. And then open your fingers without lowering your hand. After 2 breaths, second time. And then relax. One last time. And then lower your hand this time. Completely relax. After 2 breaths, put your fists together in front of your belly button. Take a deep breath as you move up your fists. And then relax. Now the next one is about opening up your back. The back is the energy channel that is named after the bladder. So again, it's important to understand that it's related to toxic, removing toxin. So this way you close your hip. Close your not your hip, your elbow. You put your fist in front of your nose. You focus on your back, and you stretch your back. Open up those channels, and then relax. Second time, and then relax. One last time, and then relax. Next one is called fists above the head. Now, that was the first part was stretching. Now we get to cardio. So open up the shoulder, open the hands, and then we roll a fist, 1 joint, 2 joint, lock it with your thumb, and just squeeze, right? Just like what they do when they ask you to give blood. He says, squeeze your fist, fighting with your heart, and then relax. Open your fingers, focusing on your breath. Got to return to the rest and digest, maintaining the harmony. Open your shoulder, squeeze again, and then relax. Open your shoulders, squeeze one last time, and then relax. The next one is called stabbing the shoulder. So you open your shoulder, you grab 2 daggers, you point the dagger on your shoulder. Now you don't look down, you look straight ahead because you're going to feel tightness in the back of your neck, and you stab as if someone just squeezed the back of your neck. And then you relax. Let the chi goes up to the top of the head, improving circulation to your brain. After 2 breaths, second time, relax. One last time, open your shoulders, stab, and then relax. Now, the next one is called the cross. You're stretching the triple warmer. It's the entirety of your internal organs. You imagine there are 2 trees on the side. You rotate your wrists. You roll your fist. You take a deep breath. You hold your breath and you push. Take a deep breath. Relax. Second time, raise your hand, wrist, fist. Take a deep breath and push. Relax. One last time. Bang means avalanche. Push it until you cause an avalanche. Now, this part is so important that we do it twice, called front hanging. So lock your elbow. As if this is how you hang your clothes on your bamboo stick. Imagine there's a tree in front. Wrists, fists, take a deep breath and push. Second time. One last time. Now we get to the muscle part, especially this muscle. Okay, so you look up, you see the bar, you grab onto the bar, you focus on the bar as you bring yourself up, doing chin up, and then relax. Second time. And then relax. Very important to relax, focus on your breath. Make sure that the inside of the mouth is wet. One last time. And then relax. Okay. Now we continue. This one is like opening the bow and arrow muscle, right? Get ready, grab the bow, and then pull the bow open. And then relax. Second time. And then relax. One last time. Relax. Put the fists together. Collect all your saliva. Swallow. All the way down to Dan 10. Feel a fire. All right. Now ready to jump. So loosen up your knee. Straighten up your back. Back of the hand touching. Go down. Lock your elbow. Dip your head. Squeeze one time. Back of the hand touching. Squeeze the second time. One more time. Flip your hand. Follow the center of your palm. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. Empty hand. Breathe in. See the big rock in front of you. Push. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. Now we're ready to meditate. It's very important that there are 2 things that are very important in this exercise. One, after each energetic exercise, you spend 2 breaths to restore the harmony by going back into the rest and digest. 2 is that after you do this exercise, you spend time meditating. Again, making sure that you're maintaining the harmony. So first, we're going to stretch our spine, lift up our shoulder, lean back, open our shoulder, relax, lean back the forehead, tuck in the chin, close our eye, relax the eyelid, and then the tip of the tongue behind the teeth touching the roof of your mouth. Now, I want you to feel your body, feel all the sensations in your body. That's your energy bouncing back and forth. I want you to collect all the energy by focusing on your breath. Anchor your mind on your belly button. As you breathe in, relax the stomach, pointing the belly button forward. As you breathe out, bring in your stomach, pointing your belly button back. Breathe in, open your stomach, bringing down the diaphragm. Breathe out, closing the stomach, pushing up the diaphragm. Now, the diaphragm is not a single organ. It's not even an organ, not by the Western definition. But it is the first organ in our creation. It is part of the membrane that initially separates the sperm from the egg. It is the only channel where the sperm communicates with the egg, and the egg is making a consumer choice. It is also the place where they merge and eventually separate into cells, creating life. So one would argue that the connective tissue throughout your body, not just wrapping around your muscle, but in your blood vessel, in your nerve, around your organ, is one big communication channel system. And the connective tissue is part of that. So by breathing in, opening your stomach, bringing down the diaphragm, is signaling to the rest of the body something is happening. And by breathing out, bringing in your belly button and pushing the diaphragm up, is sending a different signal to your body, to the rest of your being. When you breathe in, you open your stomach, diaphragm is being pulled down, and you're breathing in fresh air. That's like getting outside the cave under the sun. Your body thinks that you're potentially be confronted with danger, so it prepares you by putting out stress hormone, including cortisol, a natural steroid to prevent your body from inflammation. It's the healing agent. And when you breathe out, bringing in your stomach, pushing up the diaphragm, it tells the body that you're back into the cave, into the comfort of the cave. So it's time for you to restore the balance by not putting out any stress hormone, thereby maintaining the sensitivity to your steroid, natural steroid. So why do we have to die with a reason? Why is it so common that when you die, you have to tell the doctor, or someone has to tell the doctor what disease you have that causes death? Because your body is inflamed. Why would your body inflame? Because you lost your self-healing power. Why would you lose your healing power? Because you were stuck in the fight or flight. You were under the sun all the time. You were under stress all the time. You forgot to come home. You forgot to come back to the comfort of the cave and be in the rest and digest and stop putting out stress hormone when you don't need it. So this exercise does that, and it's being studied. They notice that your heart rate goes up when you breathe out, and your heart rate goes down when you breathe in. That only happens when you use the diaphragm. It doesn't happen when you use the upper part of the muscle. And they noticed that this measure called heart rate variability is actually directly correlated to inflammation in your body. And they have demonstrated that it can actually reverse dementia. Because dementia is inflammation in your body, in your brain, in your neurological system. That's all it is. It is that simple. Now we're going to spend the next 3 minutes doing the second part, because now we are not only collect all of our energy into this thing called the dantian, the field of fire, we even separate it into yin and yang. So now what we're going to do is focus on the bottom of our spine. The spine is called the governing channel, is where all the yang energy travel. So as we breathe in, we go from the bottom of the spine towards the top of the head. We stretch our spine, lowering the resistance, electrical resistance in the spine. Let the energy rise to the top of the head. And then as we breathe out, we lean back, relax, and come back down to the belly button. Let's sit for 3 minutes. Okay. Once upon a time, I had a mentor. This is before I finished college, and I was working my first job in the outside world. Before that, I was working in laundries part-time. It was my first job, a real job. And I was a student still. It was part of my training. And my mentor is a gentleman by the name of Paul Enter, who actually was born in what used to be called East Germany and came with his family to Philadelphia and was trained as a tool and die maker. And he became my mentor and my boss. And I still remember the things that he said. He said, Denny, don't ever lie. He says, life is too hard. Lying is too hard. He says, I don't lie. I don't lie because I have bad memory. If I lie, I can never remember what I lie. And I will make mistake. So I tell the truth. Truth is easier. There is no magic solution. You can't just take a pill and make things go away. Because pill is a toxin. Whatever it is, even supplement is a toxin. You ingest it, I'm sure it has some benefit, otherwise people won't be selling it. But don't tell that to your kidney and your liver. Your kidney thinks that it's toxin, so it's trying to do its best to filter, so is the liver. You want to have good health? Eat the right food, nutrition, and you want to have good health? Exercise. But exercise in such a way that it's a balance between energetic and restorative. So I don't recommend that you do marathon. I understand how addictive that is. I'm not capable of doing it. But if you do a lot of energetic exercise, it can be good for your body. So you do mild exercise, especially when you get to my age. I'll be 70-year-old this year. That's E. R is rest and restoration. You got to slow down. Oh, before R is U. U is unwinding. You need to find a way to unwind. Not just to relax, but unwind by initiating your rest and digest. You can do that by meditation. You can do that with Tai Chi. You can do that with yoga. It was taught by the right teacher. Or you can just walk, listen to the birds. Or you could just have a conversation. I sit in the sofa of my wife watching TV, holding hands. So that's unwinding. R is for restoration and rest. Sleeping is very important. If you sleep for your body, you only need about 2 hours, hour and a half maybe, right? The soldiers in the battlefield, all they need is 15 minutes. So if it's just for your body, you don't need 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep. It's for your brain. Your brain is where it does the filing. It's where it does the cleansing. So that's you. And finally, it's open. The people who are kind and compassionate and willing to share, they're the healthy one. The one who focuses on division and hate and selfishness, all they do is to build fire that burn from within. So that's it. Neuro. It's simple, easy to remember. I don't have to make it up every time. All right, so I'll be taking 3 weeks off. The next time I see you will be on July 18th, okay? All right, so keep up the practice. And I think Martha has a good suggestion. He says, let's go back to the recording. And we've been around for, what is it now, 6 years? Something like that. So lots of recording. You can just follow the recording and see how I reverse age. Namaste. OK，星期一見。
Thank you。
多謝大家支持，多謝陳老師，多謝大家。OK，星期一見。OK，拜拜。
Bye，thank you。